Okay, volume's down. We are live on Pop. Would you like to be a Pop? A Pop is a partner of purpose. A partner of purpose works within the community to affect change. Any change you would like to see in your community, within your community, with public officials, the law enforcement, executives that have been elected in their companies to do for the community. Would you like to be a Pop? If you would like to be a Pop, if you would like to be a partner of purpose with Real Talk 100 Radio, all you got to do is, first of all, go and follow Partners of Purpose, the page on Facebook, and then join us tonight from 7 to 8 o'clock on the Partner of Purpose show on Real Talk 100 Radio. All you got to do is go to www.realtalk100radio.com from your phones, your laptops, or your Bluetooth devices, or follow our live video feeds on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. There you have it, everybody. Welcome to Pop. Partners of Purpose. Join us every Friday night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Real Talk 100 Radio. You can either go to our website at www.realtalk100radio.com or join one of our live feeds. I'm about to get this out of your way right now and introduce you to the star of the show and the founder of Pop, Mr. T.W. Brock. What's going on, T.W.?
What's going on, Malcolm?
Man, I'm trying to make it, man. I'm on my way over there to you in just a second. Let us know about your week right quick, my man.
Oh man, it's been a tough one. We've been working on some things so we can bring put some money in our community, so we can encourage folk to get more involved in bringing change and working together with young folk in creating ideas that will get folks speaking to one another. I know we've talked about it on previous shows how, you know, in today's culture, folk are just so distant from one another. They won't even speak to each other.
You
walk up
right past each other.
Exactly. You know, what we're gonna do when Jesus come back. I don't know you. What you speaking to me for?
Don't know you. Like, what did my grandmother used to say? I don't know you better than I know a plug nickel or something. What they used to say something back in the game. You remember what I'm talking about?
I don't know you from a stuffed animal. What you talking about? Get out of my face.
Something crazy. You know how them old folks are, man. They'll say anything, man.
But that is so true.
So tell our listening audience right quick about Pop. Tell them about Pop. What is the purpose of Pop? What does Pop stand for?
Well, Pop can't be stopped. If we work together, that is. Come on now. We need some help. But Pop is actually an organization that has come together and built in memory of my father, William B. Brock. Okay, but Pop is designed to get our people involved, to get not just our people, to get people involved in the process of change. We talk a lot about how we want to see our communities. We want to see difference. We want to see businesses in our community. We want to see less police brutality. We want to see less gang members. We want to see these things, but how much work are we willing to do? In the average church today, in today's culture, you know, they preach from the pulpit again. God said he would, but he actually won't. He won't. Remember, the Bible says that faith without work is dead.
Yes, sir.
So if we're not willing to do the work, he ain't gonna do it for us. He'll give us the strength so we can do it, so we can accomplish it. But we need to get involved. And with that said, those of you who are listening and watching the show this evening, I'd like you to call in. The number on the bottom, 713-777-9595. Give us a call. If you have questions, if you'd like to make a comment tonight, we want you to participate. We need you. Okay, call in, ask some questions. Call in, don't just ask questions. Be a part of the show. Okay, we'd like your feedback. What do you think would make a difference in your community, and how can we work to get together to achieve it?
What would you like to see different in your community, and what are you willing to do to change it? Is the question Mr. T.W. Brock is asking tonight. T.W., why do you think it's so hard for people to get involved? Do you think they're scared? Do you think They're not interested. From your honest opinion, what do you not just in your movement, in any movement?
I think that most people are afraid to get involved because there's so much ostracism in today's culture, because people are unwilling to connect with strangers.
True.
You know,
True.
if we, I was at the gas station just last night, and I was talking to a gentleman who works at the ship channel, and the guy wants to build a business, and because I approached him, we actually were standing there. The gas was already pumped in my car, and he hadn't begun pumping gas in his car yet. But we stood there for a good hour talking about, you know, how we could potentially work together to create some change. So we're actually gonna invite him on the show.
Okay.
In the very near future.
Okay.
Okay. But if we didn't chop it up, if we, you know, most people are afraid to talk to each other. We won't come out of our shell.
Won't come out of our shell long enough to get to know the next man.
Exactly.
And his problems. So on that note, how do you think Martin Luther King, people like that, you know, people that actually had movements, name someone else who had a great, big, huge movement where people got behind them, the young, the old, the black, the white, the Hispanic got behind the movement. What do you think they did to capture the community's attention?
Simple. They came out of their comfort zones. It's not easy to talk to perfect strangers, you know. But you got to feel the fear, because the fear exists in everyone. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Feel the fear. So get past that comfort zone.
Exactly.
Get past the comfort
zone. And guess
zone.
what? I'm gonna tell you something. It's been my experience when I felt the fear and done it anyway.
Yes, sir.
The fear was really stupid. It was. You know, even the good book says that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Yes, he's effective in that kill, steal, and destroy. Because we won't come out of our comfort zone. Most of us don't even know. If you speak to the next man, hey man, what's going on? My name is such and such. Some folk will look at you strange and funny, but the majority of folk, it's been my experience, will come outside of their shell and say, hey, what's up to you?
If you speak.
You
got to speak first.
Exactly.
So tell me, let's move to that question. Why do you think people now? I got an idea you're going to say something about a comfort zone, but then again, you might not. Talk about why is it kind of like habit? I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're Hispanic. Why is it kind of natural to just walk past people without talking? Is that have to do with comfort or being rude? Your manners? Were you brought up wrong? Why do people do that?
I think because we see other folk do it, and so most people are afraid to be the one to take the bull by the horn and make the change. That's what I believe. I think that in today's culture, you know, if our parents, if we watch our parents be ugly to other folk, we tend to pick that, you know, that habit. They tend to pick up that habit and do it with them.
Yes.
You know, if you know, and I'm not real sure how I broke that habit. You know, I've always been the friendly type. Now my family is just like everybody else. They walk right past you. I don't know you speaking to me for, but you know, but me personally, I've always been the friendly type. You know, if I make eye contact, I'm going to speak.
It's ridiculous. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. It's ridiculous. I'll get on an elevator and we'll be in there 3 deep, me and 2 other people. Let's just say 4 other people, and everybody will be sitting there looking ahead or on their phone. No good mornings, no good afternoon.
Right?
No, I had a bad days. No, how's the weather? No, man, it's hot. No, nothing. I'm always the one that breaks the ice.
Likewise.
How's it going, everybody?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. Here's another thing I don't understand. And then we'll get to the show, y'all. This is P.O.P, y'all. This is Partners of Purpose. This show is all about getting people in the communities, getting elected officials, getting policemen, getting gang members, getting the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, everybody together and be partners of purpose. What is a partner of purpose? A partner of purpose is someone who wants to affect change within their respective communities. no matter what community you're in, whether you're in the inner city, whether you're in the suburbs, it does not matter. We are affecting change. We're about to get started on the show right now. And I forgot my question. Ain't that something? Yep, we do live bloopers on this show. This is Mr. T.W. Brock. T.W. Brock, what inspired you to come up with this show?
Well, like I said, my pop was murdered.
Yes, sir.
For standing up for the civil rights of other blacks like you and I. He was he died because he was part of a $70 million class action discrimination lawsuit.
Okay.
And the other people who, when I built his website is justiceforbrock.com. That's justice, the word for FORBROCK.com. It's on top of my hat there. If you can zoom in on it, justiceforbrock.com. When my father died standing up for the civil rights of other people, of other blacks like you and I, when I went to some of those blacks after his death to ask for their help to get justice for my father, all I wanted them to do was tell me about what they endured at the first Volkswagen plant right here in the United States. Okay, in New Stanton, Pennsylvania. Tell me a little bit about what you endured, because I know what they endured because my father kept the paperwork. Okay, but it would be more effective. It would be more legitimate. It would stand out more to the rest of the public if I could get those who are still alive to say, "Hey, man, they did this to us. They did that to us. This is what they did to your father."
Right.
Then it would be, my website would be more potent.
Yes.
And
yes,
it broke my heart that these people who my father stood up for and lost his life.
Right.
10 days before he died, he had a family meeting, told everyone in the family he had just been approved for a $9 million venture, which is equivalent to $54 million today. Okay. Because he was purchasing a Hilton hotel. Okay. Gotcha. 10 days before he died, he was approved for this. Okay. But then when family members pressed him to leave immediately because of the death threats on his life, he said, "I can't do that. I've got people counting on me." Yeah. When I went to those same people for help, they told me, "I can't help you because I got a family." And he didn't.
And he was fighting for them.
He was fighting for them.
And that's what inspired you. His father, the death of his father, inspired him to come up with this show. And I'm going to tell you a little background about Mr. T.W. Brock. The man called me for at least, 2 months?
At least
2 or 3 months. I can't even remember. But you get those calls sometimes. Sometimes it's from a tax collector. Somebody, you're like, man, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it was a gimmick. I was right hand to God. I'm sorry. I thought it was a gimmick. He kept calling. He kept texting. He kept texting me poems. I'm going, this guy's crazy. This guy's not all there, And then finally, I think it was about the third month, he said, "Just look at my website." I said, "Okay, sir, I'll look at your website." And in my mind, I'm going, babe, this dude wants me to look at his website. So I'm talking to my girlfriend and all that. And finally, I opened that website up, and my eyes, my heart, my soul lit up. So I appreciate you. And that's what I want everybody to do out here in our listening audience. If you're watching replay, please press #replay later on this evening or tomorrow sometime. It's quite all right. But we want you to go to the website. I've put it in the comments. It is justiceforbrock.com. That is what this show was birthed from. His fight for his father. His father was murdered. I'm not going to say senselessly, but his father was murdered in 1983.
Right now, but watch this, my brothers and sisters. It was said in the newspapers and all over television that my father committed suicide. What the New York Times failed to mention is that my father died like 3 hours after he had just joined a $70 million class action discrimination lawsuit against the automaker. Okay, and they had made threats on his life on several occasions prior to his death. Okay. He died because he had just joined. See, the other blacks, there was a split in the Black Caucus, and the other blacks went behind my father's back and filed a $70 million class action discrimination lawsuit against Volkswagen.
Some more of that crab in the bucket stuff.
So here's what happened. When they went behind his back, Volkswagen panicked because the other blacks didn't know what my father had done. He had written a letter to the president of Volkswagen about 4 months prior to them joining that or creating that lawsuit, saying basically, if you don't move on, because discrimination here in America is illegal.
Right.
And my father wrote that in his letter to the president, explaining to the president of Volkswagen, Dr. Carl Hahn. Okay. So if you're out there, Dr. Hahn, you know I'm talking about you. Okay.
Is he still alive?
I don't even know. We need to look it up and find out.
How old would your dad be today?
My dad would be in his about 65.
So Mr. Carl Hahn might still be alive.
Mr. Carl Hahn still be alive.
Might be 20 years older at the most, maybe. That's 83, right?
Right.
Possibly.
So, but my father wrote a letter to Dr. Carl Hahn saying basically, if you don't get your stuff in gear, we're going to sue Volkswagen and put them out of business in the U.S.
Okay.
And court documents indicated that my father actually had the documentation to do it. Okay. And a lot of people don't know that Volkswagen owns Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti. That's a $19.5 million automobile at base. If you got the fully equipped model, it might cost you $100 million for that car. Okay.
For a Bugatti.
For one car.
And until he came to the show, I had no idea Volkswagen owned Bugatti. I had no idea.
Yep.
That little Volkswagen engine, they enhanced it to become a Bugatti.
What about the Lambo? Don't forget the Lambo now. They own that too.
I didn't know that. So let's go ahead and get into the show tonight. Mr. T.W. Brock, what is it that you want our listening audience to know tonight?
Well, I want our listening audience to consider what is it going to take to get our young, our teenagers involved in the fight to make change. How is it that we can tackle this gun violence in our schools? How is it that what if we listened? What if we paid an ear? I watched on the news last night how a woman actually turned her son in because I think she read his diary or something about how he was going to go to his school and create some havoc and chaos by shooting folks. So she turned him in, and they committed him. What would it take to get our young people to a place where we don't have to commit them anymore, where they see violence as ugliness, where they see wanting to fight and beat up somebody as not just childish, but where they see it as nonsense, where they see it as, wouldn't it be more effective if we learn to work together?
Right.
If we learn to communicate effectively, and learn to partner with someone who doesn't necessarily see things my way.
Right.
Because we can do that,
Right.
We can agree to disagree. We can agree to work together to try something different so that we can achieve something different. But we have to try first. So yes. I want to get that perspective from today's young folk. Okay. So tonight we've invited the granddaughter. We've invited her boyfriend, and we're going to talk tonight about, from their perspective, what it's going to take to get young folk in thinking on a different level, thinking how can they participate in making a difference. Okay. So Tanaya, come on over, baby girl.
Look.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on over, y'all. We're going to scoot. Y'all, TW, why don't you scoot to the end, and we're going to put them right in the middle.
Okay.
We're going to put both of them right here in the middle.
All right.
I can't scoot over anymore, so y'all, you take this chair and sit next to me and scoot down as much as you can, TW. I don't want to crowd them. I don't want to scoot next to.
Okay.
I'll be off the camera if I scoot over too far.
All right.
Okay. All right. That's perfect right there, everybody. Introduce yourselves, y'all. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Act like you're on the phone with each other late at night. Hey, baby, hey. Yeah. Don't be shy. Introduce yourself to our listening audience. Right quick.
I'm Ryan King. I'm 18.
My name is Tanaya Huff, and I'm 18 also.
Ryan
Yes, sir.
and Tanaya,
Yes.
both are 18.
Yes, sir.
We have two youngsters on we have two youngsters tonight on Pop. This is Partners of Purpose, and we're reaching out to the community and trying to figure out how the community can come together. There's a lot of dissension in the community, a lot of fighting going on amongst races, a lot of fighting going on against the police, a lot of fighting going on all over. Nobody wants to work together. Nobody even wants to say hello or good morning in the morning. So we brought tonight for a different perspective. We brought two youngsters. We brought two 18-year-olds, Ryan and Tanaya. Did I say that right, Tanaya?
Yes.
I almost messed it off. I mess a name off every night, y'all. Ryan and Tanaya are both 18 years old, so we're going to get their perspective tonight on what needs to be done to get everybody's interest and how get youngsters' attention on how we can change the community, change society as we know it today. TW, did I word that right?
That's it, brother.
Tanaya and Ryan, what do you think needs to be done differently? What from your eyes, what do you think? How do we get the community's attention? People y'all's age, how do we get them to say, hey, let's stop the fighting. Let's stop fighting amongst each other. Let's love our community. Let's love our neighbor. Let's love races, crossing lines. Let's do all that. Are y'all an interracial couple? You are. So y'all know all about crossing lines and working together.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. What do you think needs to change? TW, I want you to verbalize the question the way you want them to answer it.
Okay. What I'd like to know is from the both of you, what do you think it would take to create an interest in moving forward on making change, to put down the guns, on making change, to step up, to talk to perfect strangers? What would it take from your eyes, from your perspective, to encourage young folk to get involved in the game?
So I mean, I think it would take first like action, courage, like just someone to step up and like I feel like lead someone and like really like protest or just be a leader. And because some people are scared to like speak up, so I feel like we need just, if it's even just one person, I feel like we just need someone to speak up and really really lead and stuff.
So I've got a question for you then. Would you, like Malcolm said, when he's in the elevator, he finds himself the first one to speak? What would it take for you to make a commitment to me today that you'll speak to everyone in the elevator for the next week, and then I can get your feedback on it the following week?
That's kind of scary.
Well, what's scary about it?
Um,
Why is that scary to speak to a perfect stranger in the elevator? You can't do anything in the elevator because there's typically a camera there. So
True.
if he does something, it's on camera.
Yeah, that's true. I really don't know why.
Something you never thought about, huh?
No, I never.
How about you, Ryan?
I've never thought about it either.
So you're the kind of people, and I'm not putting you down, but you're the typical kind of people that don't typically talk, like speak. Hello, good morning. How you doing? You don't do that.
I'm just shy.
You just shy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more about getting out of my comfort zone, which I really need to do more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's I really need to step outside my comfort zone because
Okay. That's fair enough. So someone who isn't shy, can you put yourself in their shoes right now? It's kind of hard to do that. You've never been in those shoes before.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I used to be very shy. I'm speaking to two youngsters tonight, Ryan and Tanaya. Ryan and Tanaya tonight about how we can affect change together as a community. Us, the older folks now, I hate to say that, but I have gotten older, and the youngsters. How can we come together and affect change in our communities? How can we effectively be the change that we want to see in our respective communities? They're a little bit shy, so I'm going to give them some insight on what I did when I was shy. I had to get out of my shell. Um, I'm going to give you a little history. My first girlfriend, she was a junior and I was a freshman. Her a mutual friend hooked us up. She thought I was cute. I thought she was cute, but I was so shy. I wouldn't walk up to her. I wouldn't introduce myself. None of that. I was one of those stalking kind of guys. I'd watch her and I'd watch her from afar, way across the gym and way across. She was way across the. No, she was in the band.
Okay.
So the band hall, I was a football player. So the band hall was like diagonal from the locker room.
Okay.
So I'd be watching her every day. I'd be going, ooh, I'd be telling my homeboys, man, look, there she is. I was one of them kind of guys, right? So the mutual friend introduced us finally. And I'm telling you, she walked from that band hall all the way over to the locker room and she saw me, right? So tell me why I hid. I hid. She already saw me and she was smiling and giggling and there he is and there he is and I'm going, oh, there she is. And I got to censor myself on this show. I want to say dumb ass. I can't say that on this show, but my dumb self got behind, the big, it was in between the band hall and the locker room was the cafeteria, where everybody sits and eats. Mm-hmm. The brick columns that are in the cafeteria, I'm hiding behind it. So now I hear them giggling and laughing and carrying on. And I'm like, okay, why am I hiding? I don't know why I'm hiding. So finally, they finally got to the brick column. Why are you hiding? I saw you already. I don't know. That's how shy I was. Wow. Okay, that's how shy I was. So
that's me too.
What? That's you?
Yes, sir.
I just explained you.
Wow.
You hid from her?
I didn't hide from her.
I'm the one that.
So y'all was hiding from each other. So how the world did you meet?
I finally went up to her and asked her out.
Finally, how long did it take you?
More than an hour.
More than an hour. It took you an hour of courage to build up, to walk up to her. And y'all went to the same school?
Yes.
Give a shout out to your school, if you don't mind.
Shout out to Cy Fair High School.
Cy Fair High School?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Cy Fair. Took you an hour worth of courage to walk up to her. What'd you say? Did you stutter?
I stuttered a lot.
It's all right, man. I was in your same shoes, man. But I really don't know how I got out of the comfort zone. I do know that I can say that the confidence, as my confidence grew in sports, I always played sports from T-ball, Little League football, all the way through. But my confidence didn't really skyrocket until I made JV as a freshman. When I made JV as a freshman, my ego, my confidence, everything. So now I'm Mr. Big, right? So I can approach anybody. I can't think of anything else that boosted my confidence. I can't think of anything else that I can name. I can't name nothing. But that's how I got out of my comfort zone. And after then, from then, I was about 16-ish or 16, I believe. No, as a freshman, I was 15, I believe. I was 15, I believe. And from 15 until now, there is no filter. There is no shyness. I can be in the middle of 10,000 people and get up and do something crazy just to make people laugh. Let's give you an example of what I would do crazy. About 4 Halloweens ago, we didn't have, our budget was kind of low. Well, and I say that only because the shop that we go to for Halloween costumes it's extravagant costumes and it's costly. And we didn't want to go and spend no $300, $400, $500 on no costumes. So we went to the closet. Me and my girlfriend, the lady right there. We went to the closet. And she found one of my cowboy hats. We love country western dancing. She went and got my cowboy hat and put on some of my boots. My boots are too big for her. Cowboy hat's too big for her head. And so she's got on one of my Wrangler shirts, and I couldn't find nothing. But here's the shocker. Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. She says, babe, put this on. It was a dress.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
It was a dress.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh man.
So I dressed up. I'll show y'all the picture before we leave. I dressed up that year as Scary Tina Turner.
Wow.
She put makeup on and a wig, and I was like, hell yeah. And the reaction that I got all night long was crazy. I mean, people were just like, you did. I was like, yeah. I mean, just for fun. Yeah. Now I had the people telling me, it was GAY, trying to censor myself. I had that. I shook it off. I'm comfortable inside my manhood. I'm comfortable. It was all for fun, but that's the kind of stuff I'll do. Now. Back, I wouldn't have done it at your age. I'd have been too shy. But anyway, got off subject a little bit. Just wanted to get y'all acclimated with, get you comfortable on the show. We got two shy kids here, and we're trying to get their insight on how we can affect change in the community. Hopefully, we'll get them out of their shy zone soon, and hopefully they'll become a pop.
I believe that. With folk like Ryan and Tanaya, to get them involved in the process of interacting with other adults, to get them in the process of wanting to step outside of their comfort zone, I believe all it takes is an adult who will challenge them to do so, who will actually interact with them. I know when I lived in Pittsburgh, I was the youngest member on the board of directors for the NAACP. It was a position that I was elected to. The way I got elected was I walked up to young folk in the area and said, "Hey, are you a member of the NAACP?" And most of them would look at me and say, "I don't even know you." You know what I mean? And I'd say, if you give me 5 minutes, you might get to. And then we talk about change in the neighborhood, and they say, well, they need. I say, well, who's they? And I would hear, well, the white man, they need to clean up the neighborhood. And I say, well, let me ask you a question. I pose a question. Let me ask you a question. If I was your next door neighbor, and someone else is going to buy your house, and they offered you $100,000 for that house, but they chose not to buy it because I'm your next door neighbor. And I got rats in my yard, and I got dirty bags in my yard, and trash all over my yard. And so they're not going to buy your house because you're sitting right next to me. If I said to you, you need to come help me clean my yard, you're going to look at me like I'm half silly. Well, the same is true with our community. Why should they help us clean the community? And they tell me, well, I don't have no money for the bags. I ain't getting I ain't going. I say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll buy the bags. Meet me out here at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and let's do it ourselves.
Yes.
All it takes is a little interaction.
Yes.
A lot of people are afraid to approach our young adults because they're afraid of what they're going to get from, I approached a young adult here a couple of days ago, and I think he was a little upset about the way I try to encourage his old lady to get involved. And he stood up like he wanted to fight, and instead of returning confrontation for more confrontation, I simply said, hey, man, I apologize. It wasn't my intent to make you feel like I was trying to take your old lady, because that's not the case. I took a more humble seat rather than a combative seat.
Right.
I didn't try to, man, who the hell are you talking to?
Right.
I punch you in your face. Now, when I was younger, I might have taken that approach, but all that does is it exacerbates the problem and creates more negativity.
Makes everything worse. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that end up?
Well, now the young man. He saw when I stood down, and I said, "Hey man, I apologize. It wasn't my intent to make you feel that way." And I began addressing him because I really didn't see him. When I came into the location, I saw the young lady, and I was telling her about P.O.P, and I was telling her about the website on the top of my hat, and he was sitting down. I didn't even know they were together, you know. But when he saw that I took the more humble approach, he then took a humble approach and said, "Man, I'm sorry. I just don't like nobody, trying, look like they're trying to take my woman,
Right.
Because I love this girl. I die for this girl." I said, I feel you on that. Had I known that was your woman, I would have addressed you first.
Right.
So
there you go. Since you brought that up, and I hate to get on sidebars all night, but I gotta ask Ryan something. Since you brought up relationships, I've never been the type. We've already talked about how I was shy, like you. Even though I was shy, and now that I'm outspoken, I'm flamboyant, whatever you want to call it. What's the word I'm looking for? An extrovert. I'm an extrovert now. You're an introvert. I was an introvert back then. I'm an extrovert now. So I got to ask you, in relation to what TW just said, the guy got all offended because he approached his woman. I've never been the guy. If a man approaches my woman, I think it's on her to react. Now, if she looks uncomfortable, I'll step in. But I feel like a woman can say, hey, my man's right there, dude. No. Or some women will be like, oh yeah, here's my number. And that's not my kind of girl. But if it were you, Ryan, and someone approached a girl, and I'm not saying, feeling her up. Of course, I know how you would react that way. I would react the same way. But a man just approached her. You didn't, TW, you weren't trying to feel her up.
I was talking to her.
You were just talking to her from a distance, and the man, he's all in his feelings. Is that how you would react if someone approached tonight?
I'll let her talk to him, and if she feels uncomfortable, then that's when I'll step in.
That's when you'll step in?
Yes, sir.
You won't be shot in?
No, sir.
All right, Ryan. I had to ask that a sidebar question because you brought it up. Thank you, TW. It's your fault.
It's all my fault.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's rehash, y'all. This is P.O.P. This is Partners of Purpose. If you would like to affect change in your community, if you would like to be the change in your respective community that you would like to see, a lot of us, me and TW talk off air all the time. A lot of us, for example, will elect officials, will put them in office, and then they'll forget everything they said to get elected. And instead of holding them accountable, we'll sit at home or on the phone with our boyfriends and girlfriends crying about it and whining about it. No. If we just come together as a community and hold these elected officials accountable, we'd probably get the changes that they promised to get elected. TW, you think it'll work?
I know it'll work because there are people just like us. If we put pressure upon them the way our jobs put pressure upon us, okay? If you have a job, you work at the fire department, okay, and you don't show up for that engine, or heck, you work at I don't know, name a place, and you don't show up and do your job, you won't have a job.
No, you won't.
Same needs to be true for our politicians.
Right.
Okay.
Why do you think it's not like that? Why do you think people are scared to step up and say, hey, Mr. Politician, you lied to me, and I got 1 million people behind me here. You need to get right. Why do you think is it the comfort zone again?
I think it's because we tend to put politicians on the pedestal. We tend to take the impression upon ourselves that they're untouchable. They're touchable, believe me. Or we tend to take the approach. We tend to take, for those who are way up in the government, well, they'll just they'll stick the CIA or the FBI on me, but if we can prove it, they won't have a job, and the FBI and the CIA can be put in their place.
Okay.
Okay. and the Bible says we can do all things include. So doesn't all include this? We can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens us, but we have to have a game plan.
Yes, sir.
We have to get involved to create a game plan.
Yes, sir.
If we're not involved, how can we create a game plan?
You can. You
Okay.
got to get involved.
We got to get involved, and we got to encourage our young people. See, because we are the example to our young people. If we're not involved, guess what happens?
They're not going to be involved.
They're not going to be involved.
They're going to be disinterested.
And it goes for generations. And then it gets laziness within the community for generations. But let us get involved and begin to affect some change, begin to make a difference. I guarantee you'll have more involvement. Because if you forget my name, it's only 2 letters, TW. Okay? If you forget my name, promise me, listeners, that you will not forget these words. Okay? And that is, I done forgot it myself. Dagnam it.
Like I said earlier, we do bloopers on this show.
Follow movement.
Okay.
Regardless of whether or not that movement is positive or negative, they follow movement. So if we got people moving in a direction where we're making and creating change, I guarantee you that others will come be a part of it. Especially if you're way up top and they want to be connected to you. Because let me ask you, think of it. Let me ask you this and think about it for yourself and tweet it in on the screen for those who are watching. If you had a chance to be buddies with Steve Harvey, right? That's my dog. Okay, and you had his personal phone number, you would go get involved, wouldn't you? If our movement, when Pop begins to make a difference, just think about it. If you were connected to me today when we're lowballing, when I get to Steve Harvey's place, man, I got TW's phone number. We can get things done. We can make a phone call and make things happen. Well, guess what? There are people connected to Steve Harvey in that fashion. Because he wasn't always big.
Nope. He sure wasn't. Steve Harvey started out, I believe, he was homeless. Yeah. Was Steve Harvey homeless?
No, I don't know that one. I'm not privy to that.
I think he was homeless. Tonight. You read for sure?
Yes.
He was homeless. And look at him now. He's on top of the world. Shout out to Steve Harvey. Shout out to him and his beautiful wife. I see him all the time. I follow him on Instagram. Shout out to Steve Harvey, but this is POP. This is Partners of Purpose. We're looking for church leaders. We're looking for community leaders. We're looking for Harris County constables. We're looking for Harris County the sheriffs. We're looking for, we don't care if you're a gang member and you want to see change in your community. We don't care if you're ex-convicts, just newly released from the penitentiary and you want to see change. And I just posted an article earlier out of TW. I don't know if you saw it, but a certain penitentiary, I don't know which one it was, but it's 149 degrees inside the penitentiary. There's no AC. There's no central air. It's 149 degrees. And those are the kind of people, I think we need to make a trip to TDC and see what's going on. That's ridiculous. It was on Channel 11 News. I just posted it earlier today. Channel 11 News posted it, and I posted it to my page, somewhere on my page, and 149 degrees. And that's a change that I would like to see happen. And that's just an example of what we're talking about on this show. What changes would you like to see in the community? Let's come together as a community and make sure that change happens. It might not happen for you. If you shoot a letter, you write a letter, you make a phone call. You're just one person. They'll be like, just tear that up, put it in the shredder. It's no big deal. But if we get the community behind you and what you want to see change in the community, some things will happen. But this is just an example of one of the changes that could easily be made in the community right here. Channel 11 News about 15 hours ago posted temperatures inside Texas prisons regularly reach 110 degrees and topped at 149 at least on one unit, according to a July study from Texas A&M University Hazard Reduction and Recovery Center. Y'all go check that out. Check that story out. That's a change that I personally would like to make change because they're human, and that's inhumane.
That's right.
That's inhumane. What is a change that you would like to see? And then I'm going to come down the panel right quick, TW. What's a change that you want to see? Just to give another example to our listening audience.
Well, a change that I'd like to see still remains the same. I'd like to see my father's death certificate reflect homicide instead of suicide, because he didn't commit no way to suicide.
Okay.
That's a change I'd like to see. But I need your help. I need your participation so we can get our politicians involved to get the Justice Department involved. Because my father died almost 40 years ago. Okay, but the thing about the United States is there is no statute of limitations on murder, and I need your help to get our Justice Department involved.
We need the community's help to get the Justice Department involved in a murder that happened in 1983. 1983, y'all. And people are afraid to step up and help this man. And it's ridiculous. It's gotten a little ridiculous now. I mean, come on. Ain't nobody untouchable. Ain't nobody above the law. Nobody. Tonight?
I would like to see less and less violence on the streets.
So my question to you is, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to pour into the effort for less and less violence? Because let me throw this thought at you. Prince says nothing comes from talking but sound. So what are you willing to do, you personally, to assist in bringing the violence down? And know that you heard the question I posed to her, Ryan. So know that I'm coming at you the same way. So you got time to prepare. She definitely time to prepare. Come on.
I would say talk to more. Well, get outside my comfort zone.
Really what friends do you have that you know carry guns? What associates do you know that always talk about violence and gangs, and always talk about things about drawing negativity into the community? Would you be willing to invite them to meet with P.O.P, and so that they would that we could talk to them about considering to try something different?
Yes, I would. But I don't really have friends that are like how can I say this? I don't have friends that are like really like negative or have guns or anything. So, but if I did have a friend like that, I would definitely be open to like inviting them. Definitely.
Okay. How about you, Ryan? Do you have any friends that are violent?
Or associates, even maybe not necessarily friends, but folk that you know from a distance?
I don't know. Not really.
Okay. I got a joke. I got a quick, just teasing right quick, y'all. Y'all forgive me. Is she always quiet like that? She never gets loud?
Sometimes.
No.
What?
No. It's just around like people, like if I just met you, I'm going to be quiet, but
okay.
I can talk. Like,
you can
when
talk?
I'm around like him, like since we like,
y'all vibe all the time?
Yeah, since we gotten to know each other more, and like around my family, I'm more loud, and like I know my mom, she I know around her I be talking a lot, and sometimes I know she be wanting me to stop talking.
All right.
But like when I'm around like for example, like you or someone new, I'm quiet, and people think I'm like
I got my daughter's 2 years older than you, and she's the same way. And what's so funny about it is she wants to be a business owner. She has a small business right now where she makes resin. She makes resin like ashtrays and stuff. And so we take her around town to get her to, get out of her comfort zone and approach potential customers. And she'll be like,
yeah.
How the hell are you going to be a businesswoman and you can't talk to nobody?
Right?
Yeah. So shout out to my daughter. Her name's Layla. She's 20 years old. She graduated almost a year and a half ago, I think. Graduated from Westfield High School. But yeah, we are talking about affecting change in the community. And I was teasing Ryan and Tanaya, but now I have to get serious right before we end the show. Ryan, what is a change that you would like to see in society?
I would like to see that people would start being more respectful to others.
Nice.
Okay. In what manner? Like I said earlier, boyfriends and girlfriends.
No likes. Let
And-
him tell you. Let him tell you. Let him tell you.
Okay.
Like
okay.
anyone, just gang members, anyone. I just want them to be more respectful.
More respectful of others.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do, Ryan, to add to creating that change? I asked that question because I never forget when I used to teach in the marriage ministry at my church in Maryland. Folk would often say, "I want a relationship where I can talk to my spouse about anything. I can't talk to that part about nothing." So my first question was always, "Well, what are you willing to do to achieve it?"
Right.
Because what we have to understand is when we ask God for something, right? When you ask God for more patience, do you know what you're really asking God for?
Forgiveness.
No.
Oh.
You're asking God to piss me off more frequently.
Yes.
Because in order to have more patience, I need something to be patient about.
Yeah.
So if I ask God on that same token, Lord, I want a relationship where I can talk about anything. What I'm really asking for is, Lord, I want the personal responsibility of creating an atmosphere that's conducive to talk about anything. So for example, in this example I used to give in the ministry. So if the wife comes home and says, "I feel like cheating on you," most men that I know, "What, mother, after you cheat on me?" Blah, blah, blah. Well, not only have they effectively shut down that day's communication, but they've also shut down future communication as well. Because the next time she comes home and wants to say something potentially controversial, first thing she gonna think, well, he gonna want to argue. I don't want to argue, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Well, she says nothing, then whatever it is that you're doing, you're not gonna know it's wrong because she ain't saying nothing about it, right? So the likelihood is you're gonna keep doing it, and it's gonna exacerbate the problem over time. But let's use the same note. She comes home and says, "I feel like cheating on you," right? If we own our feelings instead of going off, "What, mother ever you cheat on me?" Blah blah blah. What if we owned our feelings? What if we said, "You know what, baby, it would devastate me if you cheated on me. I love you with all my heart and soul, and I don't want to lose you. So please tell me what it is you feel like I'm doing or not doing enough of. It makes you feel like cheating on me." Now it puts her in a position where she feels comfortable talking to you about whatever it is that's bothering her. You follow me? So if you say, I want to see our gang members and I want to see people more respectful to one another, you have to play a role. We have to play a role in creating that type of atmosphere. So what are you willing to do, Ryan, to create that type of atmosphere?
Talk to God about it.
And then what?
And then helping others become more respectful.
Oh, but you got to help yourself come first. Watch this. I'll share this with you, with our listening audience as well. I never forget in one relationship I had. I had learned a Jamaican joke from and the girl I was with at the time. She was Jamaican, and I learned a Jamaican joke from a mutual friend. And every time I shared that joke with everybody else, they cracked up laughing when they were on the floor. But when I shared the joke with her,
wasn't funny.
Wasn't funny. She looked at me like I had 5 heads.
Like
what the hell?
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I just thought, well, maybe it wasn't funny to her, no big deal. And I went and jumped in the car. I was on my way to a meeting I had. But a previous conversations I had with this woman was, if I ever do anything to offend you, anything, you bring it to my attention because I can't fix what I don't know.
Right. That's true. That's true. A lot of people won't even tell you.
Right.
They won't verbalize it. They won't say why. They'll just stop talking to you.
Exactly.
I don't understand that either.
So watch this now. So I'm on my way to this meeting in the car. And about 5 minutes, I'm jamming my reggae and, just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? And my cell phone rings. So I answered it, and it was her. And she sounds a little timid, a little shy because it was her first time coming out of her comfort zone to tell me what it was that something I did wrong. So she says, remember that comment you made before you left? I said, yeah. She said, well, it offended me. And the very first thought that came to my mind when she said that, now just the thought that came to my mind was, girl, what the hell wrong with you? That's stupid. Everybody else is, what's wrong with you? Just get over it. That's dumb. That was the thought that came to my mind. But I didn't respond that way. Do you know why?
What?
You had to look in the mirror.
Well, it would, like she said, it would have made it worse. What happened was, if I had said that, it would have devalued her feelings. Even though I felt that, I didn't respond that way. Okay, the way I responded was, well, honey, I'm really glad you brought that to my attention, because I love you with all my heart and soul, which was a true statement. I do love you with all my heart and soul. I told her I didn't realize that offended you. Everyone else I shared that joke with, that comment with, they laughed. But now that I know that offended you, I promise you I will never address you that way again.
Gotcha.
When I came home that day, let me shut
up. See, that's a weak point with me. Not with jokes, but let's just say me and my girlfriend there, her name is Lisa. Shout out to Lisa. She was on the live feed earlier. I get in trouble all the time because I'm just me. I don't mean no harm half the time. And if I do mean harm, you best believe I'm not gonna apologize if I do mean harm. But I'm saying on a normal, for real, if I mean to upset you, I'm not gonna apologize. But excuse me, let me say that. Let me rephrase. If I say something and I know it offends you, and I feel it, I go look in the mirror and I say, Malcolm, was that right or wrong? That was wrong. I will apologize. But if I have deep conviction that I didn't do nothing wrong, stay in your feelings. You know what I mean? Stay in your feelings. But I get in trouble with her all the time because I could do something innocent to me, like not call her. And she'll be all in her feelings, and I'll be like, man, I was working. I got all this. You see all that stuff over there? I'm working all day, every day. I'm sorry. I call you and you don't call, and I'll be like, geez, man.
Here we go.
So I do apologize for stuff like that because I get caught up, man. We own 5 businesses, and I stay engulfed every day. I'm over my head every day, trying to catch up, and I get in trouble with my parents. I get in trouble with my sister. I get in trouble with my kids. They're just like, you don't have no time for us. I'm just like, man, I can't stay out of trouble. So I stay apologizing, and I'm trying to be respectful, but I want them to respect my time and my space at the same time. Because what am I supposed to do? Just stop working?
Have you ever considered? See now, you don't put me in counseling mode, brother. I love.
Come on, we got about 7 more minutes.
Okay, because here's the thing: when that comes about, have you ever considered having family time right here?
Right here?
Right here at the station. Hey, look, I we need to chop it up, but come be a part of my world so you get an opportunity to see what my world is really like. And then let us look for ways that we can work together to achieve a common goal.
I've tried that with my daughter, but my problem with that is that I am terrible at multitasking. So they'll be sitting here, and I can't effectively do my job and entertain. You see what I'm saying? So I end up kind of ignoring them. And every now and then, hey, y'all all right? You need some water? You want to order something to eat? Or I'll peek my head up. But most of the time, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't. She'll sit here all day. How y'all doing? Hey, she'll, looking at 3 screens and getting her job done, and printing. The printer's out there. She'll print something, and the whole time entertaining. I can't do that. I can't. I can't do it. I've tried. If I do it, I'm going to screw off everything.
Right.
Nothing will get done. Nothing. So Ryan's laughing. He's probably just like me.
Are you like that, Ryan? You can't do it either.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I have tried.
How about you? Can you do it?
No.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it depends.
Depends.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at multitasking, but I have tried to answer your question. My parents are elderly.
Mhm.
It would almost kill them to get up. The elevator would help,
Mhm.
but my dad's down in his back and his legs are real weak. It would, almost kill him to get up
Mhm.
to walk. He's got a walker and everything. I could probably put him in a wheelchair and get him up here, but that's a little much. You know what I mean?
Right.
My mom has rheumatoid arthritis and doing all the. She does walking to stay loose, but I might invite him up here to try that. But my daughter's been here. Both of them have been here. I could try it with my sister, but like I said, I steer myself away from that because of my inability to multitask.
Okay.
I don't want to invite you up here and practically ignore you. You know, family day. My dad is a pastor. He owns his own church down on the Beltway and all the Beltway and Antoine. I go to church as often as I can. That's the time that I can put aside and say, "Hey, Pop, I'm here to support your church and what you're doing for the community." Outside of that, all we're doing is working. We're about to hit the road to San Antonio here in a few minutes. As soon as I leave here, to do some more work. We're promoting a show, a junior chef show in San Antonio, and more work.
Nice.
Now we're gonna walk the boardwalk and all that to have a little fun, but most of it is work.
Well,
So
the only other thing I could suggest, feedback would be set aside. I know when I was in a relationship, when I was married, we had family night.
right,
And when I first came into her life, she had teenage children, and initially they couldn't stand me
right,
because how it is with teenagers. They don't want to wait dating their mama. So, and then I was strict. I was disciplinarian. Yeah, in my house you're gonna read a book a month, whether you like it or not. A book a month is only 10 pages a day. The average book is 300 pages or less. So, but we had family night, and on family night, I got to learn from my stepchildren what it is that they didn't like about me, and what they did like about me. Because in my house, we're gonna write down 10 things we absolutely love about each other. I don't care. You gotta make them up.
okay,
Okay, and 5 things you couldn't stand about me. Okay, that way I would take from those 5 things that they were right, and I paid close attention to them. And my deal was, in the 5 things you couldn't stand about me, if I can't back it up in scripture, why I had to do it that way, then we would look for change in search of a win-win situation. Maybe that might be something you might want to try in your home. Where we talk about the things that they don't like, and then look for a win-win situation, something that everybody can agree upon, and try uh, creating change in those 5 areas.
okay.
But 10 things that you absolutely love about me. Again, I don't care if you got to make it up.
10 things that you absolutely love about me. Okay.
And the reason why the 10 things is because if we're always talking about the things that we don't like about each other, it tends to make the relationship one of drudgery. Like why am I around you? If you hate me that much, then what the hell are you here for?
We went through that stage, and thank God we're past it because we almost killed each other. Because I was like,
wait, young folk, y'all pay attention to these things the old folks saying, because guess what? You're gonna go, and if you don't hear nothing else on this show, okay, for your relationship, remember this: every relationship from pulpit to door, that means from pastor on down to the front door, every relationship on the planet will, not maybe, will experience difficulty. But it's not the difficulty that determines the outcome. It's how we handle that difficulty that will determine the outcome.
And let her tell it. I handled it terribly because I walk around and I try to be from my lifetime of sports. I've always wanted to be the best, so I carried that attitude over to manhood. It's the same thing. It's not sports anymore. It's not football. It's not track, but it's life. So I still want to be the best. So to me, I'm already walking around. I'm not. I might not be the best, but I'm trying to be the best. I am trying. I'm making an effort. So when you're not doing this and you're not doing that, I'm just like, don't you see me trying, woman? And to me, it's like you said, it's drudgery. It's like, okay, if it's that bad, why don't you, get you somebody else, man? I'm tired of all the complaints, man. I mean, you complain more than you uplift me. Stop it. So we've gotten past it over the past year. We've been together 8 years, and the first 6, I'm surprised we didn't kill each other. She was getting out of a bad relationship. I was getting out of my relationship wasn't really bad, but I was getting out of a relationship. Her relationship was terrible, and she's got a lot of baggage, a lot of hurt. And I stayed with her through all the hurt and all the pain, and I finally, knock on wood. This is wood.
No, that's coffee.
No. Under there is wood. Hopefully we've gotten past it, the hardest parts, and we've been smooth sailing here the last year or two. But anyway, y'all, this is the Pop Show. We love getting sidetracked.
This ain't the Pop Show.
I'm sorry. This is Pop.
And it won't stop until Malcolm. Actually, it won't stop. Pop won't stop. So you come shop and be a part of Pop with us. Okay, how about that?
Tell them where to go to your website and find out more information, TW.
Well, go to my website about my Pop, William B. Brock. Just go visit www.justiceforbrock.com. And that's Justice, FORBROCK, not Burrock. Even though I reached out to him too and asked him to be a part of helping, hey man, let's get some, just like Malcolm says, I bothered him. I bothered Barack Obama. I bothered Sheila Jackson Lee. I bothered Al Green. In fact, Al Green told me he was going to do something. To date, he ain't done nothing. Talk. Yep. I need some people who are going to get our Justice Department to open the doors. Okay. Because any idiot with half a brain can see that William B. Brock was murdered.
One last question for the night. This is Pop. This is Partners of Purpose. We're trying to affect change in the community. And this show was founded by, he hates for me to use the word show. I'm sorry. Show is synonymous to a circus. Okay, so I'll stop using show. But this event, this story.
This not even story, because the story makes it still seems like it's made up. No, this life event that took place affected lives all around the country. Okay, when my father died, so did the effort for the other minorities to sue Volkswagen for the $70 million.
Okay.
If he committed suicide, why didn't they continue to press on?
Okay.
See, it wasn't suicide; it was murder in an effort to convince the others to back out of the lawsuit, and it was effective.
So that's why this show was born, everybody, to affect change. TW went inside his heart, went inside his heart, went inside his mind, and said, how did this happen? Why is it still happening today? And it's 2022. Why is the government allowing us to kill each other? Why is the government killing us? Why is this happening? Something needs to change. Something needs to change. It's been happening since 1983 when my father was murdered. And it's still happening in 2022. The government is allowing and overlooking murder. Murder of your family, his family, murder all over the place. And the government just bats its eye and says it's okay. How do we affect change? How do we stop this? That is why this show was birthed.
That's it.
T.W. Brock, go ahead.
On that note, my fellow listeners, see you back here on next week. And we want your involvement. Come be a part of Pop. Come be a Pop with us. Become a partner of purpose, and let's bring some change to this to our land.
There you have it from Pop himself. Become a partner of purpose anytime, 24 hours a day by texting P.O.P. to 346-779-5831. Just text POP to me. If you're interested in more information on this, I'll send you the website on what founded this show, founded this life movement, this life program. We would like you to become a POP with us. We can't do it alone, like I say all the time. All my friends and family know I say it all day, every day. We can't do it alone. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. I don't care if you're LeBron James. I don't care if you're Steph Curry. I don't care who you are. Steph Curry didn't win those championships by himself. He had a team. LeBron had a team. Tom Brady had a team. I know he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he couldn't have done it without that defense, without that offensive line, without the wide receivers, the running backs. He couldn't do it. I love sports. Can y'all tell? We need a team. We need a team of POPs that are walking around Houston, the greater surrounding areas, creating change effectively within their communities. Reach out to me. Text POP, P.O.P, to 346-779-5831. Until then, we'll see y'all next Friday night and every Friday night on POP from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night.